Now let's get stuck into the week's top stories with Barnaby Joyce, former Deputy Prime Minister and Nationals MP, and Michael Danby, former Labor MP. Leaders nationwide, gentlemen, have voiced their outrage at reports a neo-Nazi led the reprehensible booing that interrupted an Indigenous elder's welcome to country at Melbourne's Anzac Day dawn service this morning. Here was that appalling moment and the admonishment that followed.
I'm here to welcome everybody to my father's country. Beautiful Bunurong country.
We also remember the First Nations people, all the First Nations people who serve this country in uniform.
We're here for the Australians!
It was outrageous and it was appalling and it should be condemned in the strongest possible terms. It was a small number of people. The vast majority of people who are here this morning were wanting to commemorate and acknowledge Anzac Day in the way we should expect.
I don't think we should let one idiot ruin what is a solemn day for this country.
Barnaby, I join in condemning the booing. You can't boo like that on any occasion, particularly Anzac Day. It's disrespectful and thuggish beyond vile. But there is a debate to be had, Barnaby and Michael, around the welcome to country. I've been discussing this for a long time. Have a look at this, a veteran telling Channel 9 reporter that he found welcome to country at Anzac disrespectful.
No, I have a lot of veteran mates that haven't come today solely because of the welcome to the country. Because our friends have died for this country, for this soil, and for them to be welcomed is a slap in the face.
To get up there and boo in the middle of what is a sacred ceremony is going to be seen by a lot of people as disrespectful.
Yes, but that's where we, as Australians, and you as the media, need to tell the right story. Like, yes, it was disrespectful, but these are the reasons why people are not agreeing with it.
So, Barnaby, I take it you would condemn the booing quite rightly, but give us your thoughts on the issue that has to be had, particularly if the coalition forms government, about when and where welcome to countries are appropriate.
Well, let's just start with the first thing. It's absolutely, of course, stating the obvious. It is definitely not the day, and most certainly not the time, at the dawn service of the most sacred day of our nation to basically participate in a political act, which is what they are doing. They are making their views more important than the sacredness of that time for which we reflect. And, you know, it's a great honour for me to be able to wear my grandfather and my father's medals. And they fought against fascism. They didn't partake in it. And most certainly this is not the time for those who have those political beliefs to disgracefully and disgustingly break the silence that is sacred to all Australians and all Australians, not to the servicemen, servicewomen, but also all the families that are attached to that incredible sacrifice which has been made by their families.
Absolutely, Barnaby, and I agree with that wholeheartedly, but I do want to ask you about the question. I'll ask Michael first. Obviously, as I said, the actions are reprehensible and vile, but at what point do we have the discussion, Michael, about, as we heard from a serviceman there, the serviceman believed that the welcome to country was disrespectful as well. So, Michael, your thoughts on that?
Well, we're having a lot of discussion about there being too many welcomes to country. I think they're appropriate on some occasions, but something's unleashed, Rowan. What's going on? You've got these lunatics demonstrating outside the Opera House the day after the Hamas massacre. We've got neo-Nazis turning up with masks. I mean, all the loonies seem to be unleashed since coronavirus. I don't know what's going on. I'm very proud to see Barnaby with his medals of his family on. I haven't got my grandfather's medals, but there's a picture of him. Clarence John Peake, 1st Divisional Artillery Column at the Battle of Amiens in France and at Gallipoli. I'm very proud of him too and all that he did. And as Barnaby said, Australia fought against fascism in the Second World War. What are these loonies going on about?
Well, precisely. Well, I guess I'll say what neither of you are prepared to say, and that is that the Anzacs, the original Anzacs, my great-uncle died in France. The original Anzacs were fighting for God, for Queen and country. meaning the British Empire is what they were fighting for. And I think in their memory, personally, I think Welcome to Country is not the appropriate ceremony to be holding on Anzac Day. It has other places and other appropriate places where it should be. Now, let's move on. Talking about defence, which is critical. Gina Rinehart has quite rightly called for upping defence spending to 5% of GDP. Have a listen.
It is my belief we urgently need to do more to defend Australians, starting with protecting our ports, airports, sea lanes and other vital infrastructure, and significantly boosting our smart sea mines, war drones and Israeli-style drones accordingly, and boosting our defence manufacture here in Australia, as well as our budget to 5% of GDP.
Barnaby, your thoughts? The Coalition have said, well, 3% at the end of the decade, that's another $21 billion over the next 5 years, and so on. Is Gina Rinehart correct? She should know. She's got plenty of property up there in the far north of Western Australia and the Northern Territory to know how vulnerable Australia is. Your thoughts, Barnaby?
We have a range of things to do, and obviously actual engagement within the Defence Forces, within services, within reserve units, trying to get our numbers of serving men and women up. That is the crucial thing. We have to realise that when China went off the coast of Sydney, no, they didn't stop at Bermagui, or they didn't go up to Cooktown and did live fire exercises. That is practising. And what are they practising? Well, they're obviously practising for conflict. They're practising for war off the coast of Sydney. We don't seem to. The penny doesn't seem to have dropped for Australia in the circumnavigation of Australia, and basically having their so-called research vessel stooge through Bass Strait, obviously working out the oceanography and where the cables are for Melbourne, getting their tactical data that they require for whatever they intend to do for Melbourne. Now we have obviously the continued discussion and the continued allegations, or maybe they're stronger than that, from Jane's Journal on, about Russians wanting to build a base in north of Papua New Guinea. I mean, this within striking distance of Australia. We have got to realise what is before us. We have got to wake up. We have only one job in this nation: become as powerful as possible, as quickly as possible. Become resilient. You can't just say, well, our defence policy is the mums and dads of Tennessee and South Carolina and California. Well, they're going to send their sons and daughters over to die on our behalf. I think that is a pretty poor policy. You actually have to be fundamentally be able to defend yourself, be resourceful enough to resupply yourself, be tactical enough to understand what an adversary is doing and get in front of it. And I think we have a long way to go. I'm glad that Peter Dutton has started taking the steps required, but
is it enough? Sorry, Barnaby, I'll just interrupt you there, Michael.
Leaps and bounds.
Is it enough, Michael? Labor, I think, is woeful. Is the Coalition's promise of defence spending enough, or is Gina Rinehart right? We need to get to 5% of GDP in order to protect ourselves against China.
Both of them, Labor and the Coalition, need to pay attention to her, because she's quite close to Trump. God help us if the Trump defence people start noticing what we're actually spending. It's all pie in the sky when you die, money in future allocations for the submarines. But in the meantime, they've abolished 3 of the 4 mechanised battalions. They've shelved the 4th F-35 squadron and put on ice the 2 supply ships that would supply the army. It's a hopeless defence budget. We've got hopeless defence establishment people. Fancy buying 2 tugboats from China in the middle of this circumnavigation of Australia, just as Barnaby was talking about. There's no serious debate on defence in this election. It's terrible. Sheridan and Kelly are the people should be reading in The Australian, who are up in arms about how the national debate during an election is not seriously on this issue. Thanks to Gina Rinehart for putting her focus on it.
Absolutely, agree with you totally. Barnaby Joyce, Michael Danby, thanks so much for coming on The World According to Rowan Dean.